Happiness takes years to build, but tragedy strikes in an instant. Job's life had been one of boundless prosperity, flourishing fields, herds that stretched beyond sight, and a family that filled his home with joy. But in a single day, that life was torn to shreds. The first blow came like a thief in the night. Raiders descended upon his servants, swords flashing, leaving fields littered with the fallen. Before Job could fully process the horror, a servant stumbled to him, trembling.
Lightning! It struck the pastures. Your sheep, your herders, gone. All are consumed in flame.
Job's heart pounded, but no reprieve came. Another messenger burst in, breathless.
The Chaldeans formed raiding parties. They've stolen your camels, killed your servants. I alone escaped to tell you.
Each report hit like a hammer on his chest. But then came the final blow, the one that shattered him. A servant collapsed at his feet, weeping.
Now what has happened?
Master Job, it's your children. A great wind came from the wilderness. It struck the house where they were feasting. The walls collapsed. They're all gone.
Job raced to the scene, his feet pounding against the earth. He reached the smoldering wreckage of his eldest son's home. The air was thick with smoke and ash, the setting sun casting an eerie red glow over the ruins. Job fell to his knees among the charred remains, his trembling hands sifting through the ashes. With a blade, he tore his robes, then shaved his head, each action a sharp and deliberate symbol of mourning and surrender. He buried his face in the dirt. All was lost. His wealth, his servants, his children. And yet, in the depths of despair, a spark remained.
Naked I came into this world, and naked I shall return. The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord!
The ash slipped through his fingers, carried upward by the wind. Though the world around him was desolate, Job stood defiant, not in bitterness, but in worship. His tragedy was complete, but his hope was unbroken.
Welcome to Pray.com's Heroes in the Bible. Ruth. I'm Savannah Chrisley, your host, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. If you're tuning in for the first time, you're in for a story that's got it all. Love, heartbreak, resilience, and redemption. It's the kind of story that meets you right where you're at. Subscribe to this channel and follow the podcast so you don't miss what's coming. And if you want to hear more Heroes in the Bible content, download the Pray.com app. This new series is about Ruth, a woman whose life didn't go as planned, but somehow she still found her way to what God's plan was for her. We begin today with a prelude, a little story from another time in the Bible that relates to our story today. The prelude was about Job, a man who lost everything, but still chose to worship the Lord. Ruth chapter 1 is a Job-like story. It's raw, it's real, it's a story about loss and the choice to stay faithful even when you're surrounded by grief.
Naomi's screams echoed across the barren valley.
This will not break me. I refuse to let it break me.
She had thought that nothing could touch them, that the world was made of endless springs and unshakable certainties. But the earth, like the human heart, is fickle. What blooms must wither. What once flourishes must falter. Seasons change, and even the sun cannot halt the slow creep of shadow. Naomi rose, brushing the dust from her dress, and turned back toward the house. Inside, her husband Elimelech sat with their sons, Mahlon and Chilion.
We can't stay, Naomi. This land won't save us.
I know. But if we leave, will we not be leaving God behind? What does it say of our faith if we abandon the land he gave us?
I have called to him. I have begged and pleaded, but there is only silence. If he will not answer, then perhaps he means for us to act.
Then we will go for our sons. For their sake we must try.
Elimelech kissed her brow. The world was broken, but they would fight to hold their family together, even if it meant leaving everything they had known behind. With determination, they set their sights on Moab, away from Bethlehem, away from home. The seed that refused to sprout in Bethlehem bore fruit in Moab. Elimelech and Naomi dug roots into foreign soil, laboring side by side with their sons. When the first tender sprout broke the surface, the family cheered, their voices rising like a hymn of relief. For the first time in years, the weight of the famine lifted.
Elimelech, you did it! I'm so proud of you.
No, my love. We did it. Our boys will have food. You will have a home, and... and we...
Elimelech? Oh, let's get you inside.
Joy is fleeting and fickle. The toil of survival had taken its toll on Elimelech. Though he had secured life for his family, his own body betrayed him. Lying in bed, Elimelech held Naomi's hand, his breaths shallow and labored.
The harvest will soon come. Chilion can tie the stalks while Mahlon reaps. I only wish I could have grown old with you, seen our grandchildren, rested in the fruit of our labor.
I love you. I won't let this break us.
Now that I know for certain.
As the sun set over Moab, Elimelech exhaled his last, leaving Naomi a widow and her sons fatherless. They buried him on a hill overlooking the field. The morning sun kissed the horizon, melting the chill from the air. Naomi stood between her boys, her hands clutching theirs as if they might vanish into the wind. Though her heart whispered despair, Naomi clung to a flicker of hope. Redemption, however distant, still felt possible. As long as her boys stood beside her, the story was not over. Years passed, and her sons Mahlon and Chilion grew into strong young men. They learned to work in the fields, trade in the marketplace, and care for their mother. The boys eventually married. Chilion wed Orpah, a spirited Moabite woman with many connections. She embraced Naomi's family while holding fast to her Moabite roots. Mahlon's bride, Ruth, was her opposite, gentle, contemplative, and quietly resilient. For a time, Naomi allowed herself to believe she had found happiness again. But joy in her life was as fleeting as mist. Winter crept in with its bitter chill, and illness struck the family. Chilion was the first to fall, his labored breaths drawing Orpah's helpless tears. Mahlon followed soon after, despite Ruth's tireless care. Within weeks, both sons were gone, buried beside their father in the fields they had worked so diligently.
Why does tragedy follow me? Am I not worthy of joy?
Naomi heard rumors that the Lord had blessed Bethlehem, restoring life to the land. With her strength waning and no means to work the fields, she resolved to return home, hoping for provision. It was a choice born of desperation, but for Naomi, it felt like the only choice left. The mist hung low over the hills of Moab, wrapping the valley in a cool, damp embrace as dawn broke over the horizon. Ruth stirred, shivering as the cold crept into her blanket. She poked at the dying embers of the fire, coaxing them back to life before setting water to boil. But as she moved about the house, a strange stillness unsettled her. Naomi's room was empty, her cloak and basket gone. Ruth stepped outside. In the distance, she saw a faint figure moving away. Her heart sank. Naomi was leaving. Ruth rushed inside, hastily packing her belongings.
Orpah, get up!
Oh, what's going on?
Naomi's leaving. I think she's going back to Bethlehem. We can't let her be alone. She'll die out there.
Oh, but we can't just leave Moab and follow her. Ruth? Ruth?
Ruth had already left in pursuit. Orpah wrapped herself up and followed after. The two women hurried after Naomi.
Naomi!
Ruth and Orpah ran to her, falling into her arms.
We won't let you go alone.
My sweet daughters, you must go back. Return to your families. I'm cursed. If you follow me, death will come swiftly after.
Orpah hesitated, her heart torn. Naomi's words rang true. Staying would mean giving up the chance to rebuild her life. With tears streaming down her face, Orpah kissed Naomi's forehead.
Naomi,
Orpah wrestled with guilt, but Naomi held her face and nodded.
It's okay. Leave me. I'll never forget you, Naomi. May you find peace.
She turned and walked away, her figure soon swallowed by the mist. But Ruth stayed, refusing to let go.
Ruth, your sister has returned to her people and her gods. You should do the same.
Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me severely if anything but death separates us.
Tears welled in Naomi's eyes as she embraced Ruth tightly. Together, they turned toward the road to Bethlehem, the first steps of their journey bathed in the light of the rising sun. The cold air bit at Ruth and Naomi's weary legs as they climbed the final stretch of hills leading to Bethlehem. Before them lay a vision. Bethlehem bathed in amber light, its fields gleaming like molten gold. Children played in the fields, their laughter carried on the wind, as workers bent to reap the bounty of the land.
It's beautiful.
It's home. Don't get attached to its beauty. Now that I'm here, Bethlehem is doomed to ruin.
They descended the winding path into the bustling town. Whispers spread like wildfire.
Naomi has returned.
Could it really be her? Our dear sister has come back.
The crowd swelled, but Naomi's head remained bowed. The townspeople's delight seemed to mock her sorrow.
Naomi, is it really you?
Do not call me that. Naomi means pleasantness, but the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. Call me Mara, bitterness, sadness, pain, for the Lord has stripped me of everything and left me empty.
The crowd fell silent, retreating slowly, leaving Ruth to steady Naomi as she crumbled. She whispered words of comfort and guided her away. At the edge of town stood the house Naomi once called home, a shadow of its former self. Naomi collapsed in a corner, her body as broken as her spirit. But Ruth worked with quiet diligence. The Spirit of the Lord was at work within her, building a strength she didn't fully understand. She was not burdened by bitterness or crushed by grief. Instead, she was fortified with the loyalty of a shepherd, her heart steadfast and unyielding. Naomi's despair would not deter her. Ruth knew she was here for a purpose, though its fullness was yet to be revealed.
I'm not gonna lie, Ruth chapter 1 hits hard. It's full of loss, grief, and choices that change everything. If you've ever felt like life's been unfair, or you've had more than your fair share of why me moments, you probably feel every bit of this chapter. So here's the setup. There's a woman named Naomi. She's living in Bethlehem with her husband, Elimelech, and their 2 sons. But famine hits, and the family has to leave home and move to Moab, a foreign land. Now think about that. They had to leave everything familiar to go somewhere unknown just to survive. Already, that's a lot. But it doesn't stop there. While in Moab, Naomi's husband dies. Then tragedy strikes again when her 2 sons also die. Now Naomi's left with 2 daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth. Can you imagine that? Losing your home, your husband, and your children, it's enough to crush anyone. Naomi hears that the famine in Bethlehem is over, so she decides to go back home. She's broken, she's bitter, and she's ready to face her hometown with nothing but heartache in her hands. Naomi tells Ruth and Orpah to stay behind in Moab and build a new life. Orpah listens and stays in Moab. But Ruth, oh man. Ruth plants her feet, grabs Naomi by the face, and says, "No way. Where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God." She's all in. That's loyalty, that's love, and that's faith in action. Ruth's not following Naomi because it's easy or because she's hoping for something in return. She's doing it because her heart's been stirred to stay by Naomi's side no matter what. When she returns home, everyone shouts, "It's Naomi, it's Naomi." But Naomi no longer identifies with that name. Naomi means pleasantness. She thinks it's too pretty of a name for such a miserable person. She tells everyone to call her Mara, which means bitterness. She's letting the pain define her. Y'all, let me tell you, I have been there more times than not. I'll never forget hearing those words echoing through the courtroom. Guilty. The verdict fell to the ground, heavy and shocking. I was confident that it wasn't true. I knew this was a witch hunt. I knew then and now that true justice wasn't served. But at that moment, what I knew to be true, it didn't matter. I had to watch my parents locked up and being tried as criminals. What came after the initial shock of that moment was the pressing temptation to become bitter. I mean, let's face it, it's hard not to let pain and grief rename you. It's hard to not let it change how you see yourself and your story. Here's what I've learned from my experience and Ruth's story. Don't let pain rename you. Don't let it define you. You might feel broken, but that's not your name. You might feel bitter, but that's not your identity. Just because you're going through a storm doesn't mean that you're meant to stay in it forever. Even though Naomi tried to isolate herself, Ruth remained planted by her side and said, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." Ruth's declaration to Naomi exemplifies Christ's promise to us when he says, "I will be with you always." In the darkest pits of despair, and when the world feels like it's caving in, you have a Ruth by your side. Jesus. You have someone who refuses to leave you, even when you lash out and push away. You want to rename yourself according to what's happened to you. I get it. but Christ wants to rename you according to what he's done on the cross. You call yourself bitter. He calls you blessed. You call yourself worthless. He calls you worthy. You call yourself a victim, and he calls you a conqueror. Ruth is an image of Christ to Naomi. May we all be like that when people need us most. Let's be people who step up. For Naomi, it was Ruth. For me, it was my brother and my friends who reminded me that I wasn't alone. We're just getting started. Y'all, next time, we're stepping into Ruth chapter 2, and things are about to shift in a big way. This is where Ruth's hard work and faithfulness start to pay off. It's one of my favorite parts of the story. Subscribe and follow this series so you don't miss what's coming. And if today's message spoke to you, share it with someone who you think needs it most. You never know who's in their chapter 1 moment and just needs to hear that they're not alone. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, remember, just because you're in a hard season doesn't mean that's where your story ends.